COVID-19, also referred to as the coronavirus, is a virus a part of the coronavirus family. This family also consists of other deadly viruses such as SARS and MERS. COVID-19 was first identified in Wuhan, China in 2019 and has quickly spread since then. In the United States, the first reported case was on January 20th, 2020 in Washington State, after an American citizen came back from traveling from Wuhan, China. Not long after, Chinese authorities had shut down the major city from any travel in or out of Wuhan. Many countries would soon follow suit. Prior to mid-February, the Trump administration had stated on multiple occasions the virus was under control. However, not long after, multiple states declared a state of emergency. Charlie Baker of Massachusetts declared a state of emergency after cases had doubled overnight on March 10th. These were caused by the Biogen conference in the Seaport District of Boston, where 70 of the state's cases had been linked out of the state's then 92. The total number of cases on March 10th was 92 in Massachusetts, and the U.S. had been at 291. As of May 11, 2020, there had been nearly 80,000 cases in the small state of Massachusetts, and 1.32 million cases in the United States. Scientists estimate it will take over 18 months to develop a vaccine. This virus has caused a drastic change in the life of those living in the United States and across the world.
Alright, well, in the beginning, it was literally email about it. Actually, no. The first 2 weeks, that sounded good. And then just it continuing, the new announcements of Charlie Baker just saying, you're not going back to school, you're not going to school. That was rough, and especially as a senior, just missing out on everything you waited for 4 years. It's really disappointing.
I think this is for sure one of the lowest moments in my life, because this is supposed to be one of the greatest years of our lives, and it's just been completely taken away, and this isn't something that we can redo. We can't make this up.
My name's Dearns. I'm 18 years old, and I'm a part of the West Bridgewater graduating class of 2020. This documentary was originally supposed to be for my TV3 class, and it was meant to be about pop culture and stuff like that. But now that COVID-19 has hit, it's about Corona, because we have nothing else to access. Everything's shut down. Everything has stopped production, 6 feet, social distancing guidelines. It's made it really difficult to try to produce a proper documentary. So now we're just using our resources that we have around us. All of our classes have moved online. I have classes 2 times a day. I have the first class from 10 to 10:45 and the second class from 11 to 11:45. It's made learning really difficult. It is estimated that the U.S. school system carries 56.6 million students. Of this, 2.7 million of them have already been online. This leaves approximately 53.9 million students having to adapt to a new way of learning.
The academic part, I hate online school. I can't learn that way. Math on the computer, no. That just does not work for me. So I dreaded every single thing that I had to do online. I had no motivation for it.
The way schools approach this new way of learning depends on the courses they offer as well as the size of the school. Many have tried to adapt to the new way of learning, with some schools such as Bristol, Plymouth, and Taunton, Massachusetts, only assign homework online, while other schools such as West Bridgewater Middle Senior High School having made lessons on video chat mandatory. There are so many issues when it comes to this online thing. I literally finished classes Friday, and it's Tuesday, and I'm still trying to edit this documentary, and I'm it's weird because I'm not able to unless my Wi-Fi connection is amazing, and it's hard to work when you have 6 other people on your freaking Wi-Fi, and I can't even imagine what's working for those kids without Wi-Fi, because this is frustrating enough. This pandemic has caused the 2019-2020 school year to stop abruptly, leading to the fast cancellation of many events due to the orders from state and federal governments. Graduations, dances, and many other events have been canceled, leaving many seniors last day to the day the district or the state announced they would stop K-12 schools. This pandemic has also led many to go without a graduation or having one postponed. I was editing my documentary and I went to go check my emails, and I found out we're actually having a graduation July 19th, but we have to adhere to specific guidelines brought out by the CDC. Graduation cannot be earlier than July 19th. All people must wear masks, stay 6 feet apart, so all the chairs have to be 6 feet, 6 feet, 6 feet across, and then 6 feet, 6 feet, 6 feet. Graduations must be as short as possible. No hugging, no like high-fiving, stuff of that nature, and everyone must leave after the graduation. I find that kind of crazy. I find that kind of more so as a ceremony rather than a graduation, because there's not really that like after, like, oh my god, you did it, you know?
As much as the things that everyone's trying to do to like make everything better, it's nothing will be able to get back the year that we've lost. And a lot of people say to try to, you know, be positive and remain positive, but it's also really hard to be able to do that right now. But, you know, I'm still trying every day.
The pandemic has also caused many disruptions in businesses and restaurants across the state, which has done nothing but hurt smaller businesses. The federal government made the Paycheck Protection Program to help protect smaller businesses and keep workers working with a paycheck. However, larger businesses such as Shake Shack were able to apply and receive $10 million of the $349 billion. Not every small business was able to receive the loan due to it being gone the same week of its release. Shake Shack's actions angered many, as they saw this as the government favoring larger businesses. Multiple larger businesses were able to apply for the loan, leaving many smaller businesses feel abandoned. Stores and businesses have had to adapt to strict reopening standards brought out by the local government and the CDC. Most include limiting the number of people in a store, mandatory face masks for all, keeping 6 feet, and limiting the number of non-essential goods. These gave me a face mask, and I'm currently counting the number of customers coming in and out of the store. So one just left, so I have to subtract that. I'm currently at 123 customers, but we have a limit of 250 to 300 about. Despite many difficulties, as of May 18, 2020, Massachusetts has started Phase 1. This phase includes reopening curbside pickup for non-essential stores, reopening select beaches, parks, athletic fields, and drive-in theaters. The phases must last 3 weeks, making the reopening of the mass economy not in sight until early July. Phase 4 will not start until a vaccine or cure is uncovered. I will admit, even though this whole virus thing has sucked, like, I've lost contact with a bunch of my friends. I didn't have high school graduation as planned. I wasn't able to wrap up my senior year like normal people would. I appreciate that's given me a new perspective on life. I notice the beauty in smaller things. I cherish a lot more things. I cherish hanging out with my friends more. Like things I used to take for granted, I no longer take for granted. And honestly, I feel like that's going to stay with me for a long time. I feel like this virus overall, for our generation, Generation Z, I feel like we have matured quicker because of it. I feel like a lot of the juniors, seniors, like people in college that are a part of our generation, I feel like we saw a new perspective of the world that we hadn't been introduced to before. And I feel like that's going to shape our generation for years to come. I feel like this whole pandemic is going to be a key characteristic of our generation. And I feel like despite like all of us kind of maturing a lot faster than we would have expected, I feel like it's definitely a positive.